Hey YouTube, so we are here. It is finally out, the last update for SFO Grimhammer, The Last Kiss, and we're going to be starting our new campaign, as it might be obvious from our background here, as the Vampire Coast, playing as
The Vampire Coast is all mine.
Luthor Harkon. So I think without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump right in there. Talk about some of his faction effects and lord effects when we actually get into the campaign. A bit of bad news about the previous Balthazar Guild campaign. Unfortunately, the Last Kiss update, I am unable to continue that playthrough because the Last Kiss update actually requires a new save file. I'm not going to delete that save just yet, just in case Venrus and the team are able to update that, but for now that is kind of put on hold. So I've got a few of the episodes to still upload, so I'll be able to do that, but for the foreseeable future that's kind of going to be put on pause. We might be returning to Balthazar in a later update, but for now he's kind of shelved. And we'll let this play out here. This little opening cinematic by our advisor as soon as it finishes loading. Okay, there it goes.
Greetings, Arch Grand Commodore. The oceans are ripe for piracy, and you, as the founder of the Vampire Coast, should take to the seas at once. However, in the north, a crew abandons your command. See them flogged for their lack of loyalty, and send a clear message to all would-be mutineers. The oceans of this world are a ferocious and deadly place, but nothing compares with the galleon's graveyard. Sail carefully here, my lord, for it has devoured many great ships that have strayed too close. To the south, in the hot, arid dunes, the followers of Nagash plot his return to power. Their hunger may prove a useful tool in building an alliance of the dead. Across the straits, elves and the accursed lizards rule the jungle cities. As you well know, much gold can be plundered here, and resources gathered to further your fleet. Just avoid the cursed treasure. I know I speak to not one, but many who inhabit your fractured mind, Lord Harkon. And that some consider this a weakness and curse. But like gold doubloons, more is better than one. Raise anchor, and as one, begin the reaving.
Don't want to move too far away. So, Luthor Harkon. As the Vampire Coast, we have access to a lot of relatively low impact infantry, but we're going to make up for it with a lot of guns, a lot of cannons, a lot of ranged, and some monsters thrown in there for good measure. They also have access to an infamy mechanic, which is kind of tracked up here. Right now I'm the least infamous pirate there is. We can get all the way up to the most infamous pirate, which will get us these sea shanty verses, which are going to give us some buffs. I'm not sure if they've tweaked that in SFO, but we'll find that out as we go along. And we've also got the pirate coves, which we can set up in any coastal settlement. We can set up a pirate cove, which either siphons a little bit of income or disseminates some of the vampire corruption or gives us some other benefits in battle. So we've got our first chapter objective here, the Wrath of the Pirate King. Luthor Harkon has been battling with himself for some time, this fractured mind recently causing him to lose grip on his undead pirate empire. Mutineers have emerged, insolently stealing part of his land named for his exploits. the fog of his mind lifts just enough for Luthor to unite his wills. It is time for the Pirate King to raid the hovels of any nearby landlubbers, murdering all before him on his way to regaining supremacy. So,
Luthor Harkon.
as we see, he starts out with a couple pirate deckhands, a couple couple pirate gunnery mobs, the bloated corpse, a couple Mournguls, a couple deck droppers, and a carronade. We're actually going to go right over to his main settlement. This will be useful. What we'll need for sure, though, are mortars. That's going to really help us, an early artillery unit. As we saw in our previous campaign with Balthazar Gelt, the artillery was invaluable. And let's see, let's also increase treasure generated from Curse of the Bountiful. Increase income from raiding, increased own armies faction-wide, income from slave pits and meat markets, minor settlements, 20%. So I know that if we actually go up to our faction effects here, we have different campaign effects unlock unique technologies. So we'll be taking a look at that in a second here. Diplomatic relations plus 200 with the Followers or Nagash, so that'll allow us some early trading opportunities if we want. Diplomatic relations 100 minus 100 with the Lizardmen, which that's going to give us a lot of early game enemies. Ports income increased by 25%. Diplomatic relations minus 100 with Vampire Coast mutineers. We'll want to get rid of them really quick. Attribute perfect vigor for zombie pirate deckhands and gunnery mob units. Own armies within enemy territory. And attribute vanguard deployment for zombie pirate deckhands and gunnery mobs. Own armies within owned territory. So that'll get us closer to the enemy quicker, and our main sources of income are going to be treasure hunts, sacking settlements, and raiding. So we're going to be doing a lot of that. So let's go ahead and upgrade this building also and get us the plunder pile.
My ocean.
Then we're going to go with Luthor and go straight on the attack, right on the offensive. Okay, so that's going to be good for us, so we're just going to immediately jump into this battle. So Luthor, while plundering some Lizardmen temples for treasure to increase his arcane abilities, he managed to stumble upon some cursed treasure that was kind of alluded to in that opening. And basically that curse cut him off from the winds of magic and caused him to go insane, which yeah, that's not great for him, but we're going to see if we can't heal his mind and eventually get that magic back. So what we're going to do is set up our cannons, I think over here. Well, that'll give us a really clear, really good line of sight on the enemy. Since I think, so the Vanguard deployment is coming from his ability that, since I think this was owned territory, it counts as. So that's good for us. In that we can have our guns, a lot of our guys just jump on them really quick. We'll have Luthor go over here and kind of make his way to this from the side. What we're going to do with the bloated corpse is kind of take him around. Actually, since we have the ranged advantage, now that I think about it, it might be a better idea just to stick these guys like that and have them come to us. We've got more units than they do by a rather wide margin, so I think it's going to be to our advantage to do that. We'll have him not run away, have them not run away. They'll be able to shoot over our heads. We can always, let's move them a little bit forward. And then we'll have our Mournguls over here, and they're going to kind of, since they have Vanguard deployment and hidden and I believe stock as well. Let's see, they're unstoppable, hunters in the dark, speed and acceleration increase, as long as their leadership isn't broken. Ravenous Hunger's regeneration. Where is it? Stock. Okay, there it is. So while they're moving in any terrain, they can be invisible. So what we're going to do is we'll set them up over here, and we'll kind of have them loop them around and pounce on their guns over here. We'll have these two deck droppers kind of go over and mess with their bombers a little bit, and we'll also have this. We'll have our bloated corpse kind of moving over there. Give away. See, we revealed some of their hidden units, but they haven't revealed any of ours. Actually, let's have them shoot the gunnery mob because the infantry is going to be basically no contest against us. Okay, there's the Mongols being detected, but they're just going to tear these guys apart. It's all really low tier infantry, so I'm not really worried about that. Let's go get those deck droppers with our those deck dropper bombers with our deck droppers. Yeah, see, our Mongols are really gonna tear them up really well. Our guns focus them down. Luthor will also be able to focus them pretty good. Get out of the range of their fire, you dolt. Those kind of back to be able to flank a little bit. We're going to dampen his magical abilities with Luthor's army ability here, which power siphon. It decreases vigor and increases ability recharge rate. So if he's going to be trying to do something, it's going to be failing a lot. And our Mongols are going to tear them to pieces while our bats kind of distract their pistol infantry. Our bloated corpse is going to go after their gunnery mobs. Our gunners are going to go help out over there.
Luthor Harkon!
So if the cannon kind of help out Luthor over here. Looks like he's rampaging. So he's not going to be able to pull out of there, but that's fine. Looks like our bloated corpse did their task. Let's have these guys come over here. One of you can go there, and one of you can go help out there, even though it's not going to be overly necessary. We're going to pretty much win this one. So the Mongols are really slow. They're not the best. They're best at like sneaking around and you know, let's have the Kyrenate stop shooting because they're not.
Seas of slaughter! I'm going! With haste!
Let's have Luthor kind of back up a little bit.
We will kill!
Okay, so that's basically it. So these bats kind of help out with their guns a little bit. But that is essentially victory for us. Without too much difficulty. Nice. Took a little bit of damage there, but it's not a tragedy. Luthor can recover a bit, and we'll have him kind of hang out in the back during the next fight. And let the guns and cannons and monsters do most of the work. The bats are not honestly overly useful. I'd much prefer the longer range variant of these bats, but they'll do for now. They'll be able to kind of like cycle in the back, or rather they'd be able to get behind really easily and flank, so I think that's how I'm going to treat them, as kind of really, really low health melee cav. Let's see, that won't heal Luthor, but that'll heal most of his units, and that's going to be really useful for us.
Into the ranks they go.
Oh, and we got a pyrotechnic compound, so increase ammunition, range, and armor piercing
The Pirate King only
missile
knows
damage.
victory.
That's pretty great for us. Another mechanic, so let's see, went over
The
infamy.
Vampire Coast prevails.
Another mechanic that the Vampire Coast has is the treasure map mechanic, so sleep is not required, for in the north there is something harsh amidst the treasure of the marsh. So we'll be looking into kind of a marshy area, so probably right around here. For this treasure, you go to this general area, can kind of zoom to this larger location. It's kind of telling us to go to the Pox Marsh, so we'll kind of go as far as he goes in there and enter this stance, dig for treasure, consume all remaining movement range, chance of finding additional treasure maps, and a campaign movement disabled. So the more treasure we find, I think Venrus and the SFO team managed to make this a lot more lucrative for us. Another mechanic they have to unlock their Regiments of Renown, it's actually using the Pieces of 8. So we'll have to gather these Pieces of 8 from these Pirate Lords to unlock certain Regiments of Renown for us. They don't unlock by unit level up. A new mechanic that he added was this Black Market, which...
A force to be reckoned with.
Let's see. Treasure Seekers set sail. We can pay... So it looks like we can enter this... I don't know if any time we want, but a good amount of times it looks like. Our captain, this one claims he can airpoint us in the direction of some items of interest for a modest fee, of course. So if we pay some money, we gain some infamy, or we can pay some infamy. Oh no, so it's always pay money and gain infamy, and we get these various buffs for our faction, but since we don't have the treasure to be able to pay for that, we'll just dance the hempen jig and do nothing. So that's something that was added. They've also got this office mechanic, Luthor Admiral of the Fleet, who, let's see, gains income from sacking settlements, plus 25% for Lord's Army, and then each one of these has their own unique effects that they gain, but they have to be a certain loyalty rank and a certain Lord rank to actually become one of these, to actually be able to occupy one of these offices. This is going to be useful for us because it's going to increase our pirate crew, which is yet another mechanic that that all the Vampire Coast has, is this mechanic. We'll go over that in a second. Let's just move. Let's go ahead and give him Route Marcher. I want to say Ghostly Fleet for right now, since we'll be going into some of this, though the Hunger is going, I'll go with the Hunger because I'll give him some passive restoration, some passive regeneration, and we really need that for Luthor, especially if he starts going on a rampage. So we'll move him as far as we can.
The Vampire Coast prevails.
We'll dig for treasure. Let's see, we managed to find a Great Hoarder's treasure. Riddle of the Map Maker. Sleep is not required. Okay, so that's the treasure clue. And wow, we managed to gain a lot of money and immediately some income, some infamy.
A force to be reckoned
Hoard uncovered. The deckhands were digging all through the night till their rusty spades clanked against an old chest buried in the dirt. The treasure has been found. Nice. And then we right unlock Curse of the Sea Mist. Take a look at that. The Riddles of Randall. So we got another one. It is not X that marks the spot, but the scrawls etched by ancients long thought lost. let's take a look at that. So this one takes us to the far opposite end of the map. We are for sure probably not going to be getting that one anytime soon. But we did unlock the Curse of Sea Mists, which is going to increase our movement range. Give Vanguard deployment for a bunch of different units here. All regions belonging to you will be covered in a cursed mist that causes attrition, and we're immune to that cursed mist. What we really want to work our way towards is the Queen Bess, which is incredibly good, and I'll be showcasing that as soon as I get it, because it doesn't look overly impressive, but because I'm actually, I wonder if, because that seems a little bit low. So I wonder if this was if this was nerfed just a little bit to, well, we'll see. No sense in speculating right now. So let's go back to Luthor over here. Another thing that the Vampire Coast has is the raise dead mechanic. So we'll be able to raise some undead pirates to our crew from the surrounding area and from the sea.
The Vampire Coast prevails.
Technology has been reworked a bit to cost a lot of infamy. So I think there's this thing, Sentries in Command. We kind of want that because that's going to be really helpful to get admirals into those, what's it called, into these offices. So we'll want that eventually. So let's go with Command Crews first to be able to work our way towards Sentries in Command. This is the new, these are the new technologies that was talked about in the faction effects. So once the Awakening is a pirate holdout, the upkeep of Lords and Heroes is reduced. I can get this technology, I can start researching this technology, and then I can go down to these, which have certain requirements to do them. So Killer Wound faction leaders, win a battle with at least 4 heroes in the army, win 5 siege battles, perform 5 successful hostile agent actions, have 3 characters reach level 15, win battle against enemies of 4 different cultures, and have at least 25,000 gold at the start of the turn. So let's now go into encamped stance so that Luthor can get a little bit of healing in. See if we can, so we can get that from global recruitment. So we'll go ahead and let's take a look at the shipbuilding mechanic that Luthor and all the other legendary pirate lords from the Vampire Coast DLC have. So we can increase his officer cabin up a rank to get a decrease to upkeep, the pirate crew recruitment capacity +2, and a pirate crew growth +5. I wonder I wonder if these must be cumulative. Then they must stack on each other. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe there's just a base recruitment, and then I'd have to get additional recruitment. Let's see. That's the growth basically of the pirate crew. Yeah, so that would be the crow's nest, which would increase our growth. Oh, that's just growth locally. There it is. Here's what we need. So we need the heavy ballast or the Killick. So I think we'll probably want this because we're not going to be hanging around our main settlements too much. So we'll want this to be leveled up sooner rather than later. However, at the moment, the officer's cabin isn't as enticing to us as this heavy ballast, which will increase our pirate growth. So we'll do that for now.
Vampire Coast prevails.
And this is where we're going to get our regiments of renown when we unlock their recruitment based off of those pieces of 8.
The Pirate King only knows victory.
And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next turn, and eventually we're going to be taking out the Pox Marsh, taking over the entirety of the Vampire Coast region. Okay, so let's go ahead and
Curse my
move Luthor
crowded psyche.
over here.
Kill.
It's a close victory. They've got a lot of infantry, but their infantry doesn't matter as much to us as these units here. Their missiles, their handguns are actually much longer range than ours. So that's going to cause us problems. You can see our gunnery mob only has a range of 90. So we're going to have to focus our handgunners on their... Just go ahead and start this fight right away. We're going to have to focus our handguns on this bloated corpse. We don't want it to hit us. Send our bloated corpse against whatever pack of infantry we can find, and we'll also want to take out their deck drops, their deck droppers, as quickly as possible as well, because that flanking is going to be problematic. So let's see. So there isn't an overly amazing spot. We can put our cannons here, which is going to give us a pretty clear line of sight, but because of these hills, some of it might be obstructed. We're actually going to use our Mornghuls over here, and we're going to try to take them around back. We'll use our deck droppers like that. Let's go ahead and set up our... So because they're gunner units, they kind of need that line of sight, so let's set them up kind of like that. So they'll be taking care of this wide arc over here. We'll throw the bloated corpse over here in case somebody decides to come after them. We'll throw these handgunners out front like this, so that they have a pretty clear line of sight for anything that's... Let's go take a look here. Not the best with those hills. So let's actually set up these guys up here, and we'll kind of move them a little bit forward to get some early shots off. We'll have you waiting on the sides there, you guys waiting over here, and Luthor kind of in the back. We'll set him up as high as possible to keep getting shots from over the top. It would actually make more sense to put our cannons here, maybe a bit higher up. Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Gunnery mob! Deck hands! They are lambs!
Fractured mind and the hunger. Okay, let's see how this goes. Shooting at that really quick. Let's move you over. Let's go ahead and shift our Mornghuls into the forest here. We're gonna kind of want to get those Mornghuls to attack the handgunners as quickly as possible. It really all depends on how they decide to set up their army. What's nice about the Mornghuls is since they're essentially invisible. Okay, let's see. We'll have those units fire on them. That bloated corpse won't matter much. These handgunners will be able to start shooting them really quick. So they're doing some damage to us, but since we've got more guns, I think we should be able to take them out sooner rather than later, hopefully. Just make sure these guys don't run for no reason. Because they tend to run when random infantry or random units like that get close. Oh, that's why we're taking a lot of damage.
Gumby! Above deck!
good. They left their gunners behind, so that's perfect for us.
Attack! Hey! Moving. Time to die!
So they're probably going to send a bunch of their units back to help out. So we'll move ours back a little bit. This will give our we'll move our Morngul's back. We don't want them to die. Where did that bloated corpse of theirs go? Oh, the bloated corpse is going to try to attack our Morngul's, which is really a fine.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'll allow it. Get them! Luthor Harkon! On the way.
We really don't want our Morngul's fighting the Halberdier units. So what we'll do instead is have the cannon fire on those. Looks like we lost one of our deck droppers, which is fine. Okay, so he's going to be healing. Luthor, though I can't control him, is going to be healing with that ability we gave him, so that's fine. We're going to see if we can't get this bloated corpse to... We'll go have him charge at those halberdiers. Okay, they should have lost sight of our guys. Bloated corpse should rush them.
Out of way from soul. Attack! Get lubber!
Okay. Looks like Luthor's still out of control. He's firing, so that's fine. Bloated corpse is heading his way. They should be dead pretty soon. They're attacking there, they're attacking there.
Undead. Blood and salt. Move
There we go. And that's everybody. A little chaotic, but it's going to go better assuming we have better terrain in the future. Didn't lose many guys. We lost some deck droppers, but again, they weren't they weren't crazy high value, so that's not the worst. And we were getting shot up pretty good by their handgunners. And this will also give Luthor the opportunity to heal a little bit when we take over this territory. As well as build up his pirate ship. So let's go ahead. So this is where we establish a pirate coast if we wanted to, but we're going to go ahead and claim this.
My realm grows.
And we'll upgrade this to the swag sacks.
Luthor Harkon.
And we're going to go with Ghost Fleet for a couple points because we're going to work our way to Lightning Strike as quickly as possible. Potentially Living Ship as well. And Black Flag isn't bad. Let's see, Avasti, All Hands Hoy. Hornswoggle is also not bad. That'll decrease some speed and get them to, well, not like attack us, I don't think, but it'll at least hex them with some debuffs there. So now, can't quite do it yet. Let's see if we can't raise the dead.
Luthor Harkon.
Let's go ahead and upgrade our general cabin to the officer's cabin. And the next time we're able to upgrade potentially that, and maybe Fellbats would be useful. I think Fellbats are definitely going to be a lot more useful than they were back in the vanilla version. I kind of want to try out these boarding crew because I haven't seen them in action before. They're a new unit from SFO, so I'd really like to try them out as well. But for now, Luthor, I suppose I could. I'm going to take a couple scurvy dogs because they will be useful, and they do come from a regular building, which is not bad. And then next turn we'll be able to recruit some cannons and be a bit more on the offensive.
You must be eager to become fish food.
So they are willing to pay me to join the war against the Vampire Coast mutineers. I don't mind that. Go ahead. You know, the more people that are at war with them, the better, because then they'll get destroyed and I won't have to deal with them over here. Because I definitely want to secure the Vampire Coast as quickly as possible.
Curse my crowded psyche.
So, let's see. I'm going
My
to
madness is not weakness.
sail out full tilt down to the Awakening so that I can get to the Blood Swamps also as quickly as I possibly can. Let's see, Fleet Admiral with guns and a Fleet Admiral with a halberd. Don't really need a Fleet Admiral too much just yet.
I am the Pirate King.
We should be able to upgrade pretty soon here with some Fellbats to get up to the tech dropper handguns. Death Street Terrorgeist is going to be awesome, but we also could use some animated Hulks. They're not bad, animated Hulks. So they're a little bit low on the defensive, but they have really good, ridiculous melee stats. Melee attack and melee and weapon strength are really good, so they're really good damage dealers in melee. So that's something we'll definitely have to look into. Oh, and a thing I forgot to do actually is I could have... Okay, so the Cult of Sotek united against us. That's going to be fun.
Power. More power.
We'll go with the only faction caps. Like I described before, the SFO Grimhammer is one of its systems is this capacity system that you can choose right in the early campaign. I'm going to go ahead and go with only faction caps.
King of the Vampire Coast.
So I'm not overly limited. We'll go with Ghost Fleet, confirm sacking, and some movement range. And that'll take us to go on account. Wait, what was the... There was a... Yeah, it was this building chain. So the this building chain allows us not only to recruit mortars from anywhere, but it also gives us the... I wonder if any of the other ones give uses. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, this one gives. So this is number of uses. At the very tier 3, it gives us number of uses of these special abilities. So if we build these cannons, it'll actually give us during an army ability for this army of the Zufbar 42 pounders. This one gives us, let's see, this one gives us a Sartosa Grape Shot and the Zufbar 42 pounders, and this one gives us the Norse Roar and the previous two. So that will definitely want.
Make this quick.
So let's go over here. I think this also, yeah, for own armies and region does that same thing. Looks like it changes. Okay.
Curse my crowded psyche.
So let's go ahead and
The stronger,
go into that stance. We don't have any buildings here that would recruit. Actually, let's do that. Let's recruit that so we can have that whenever we need it. For right now, we need mortars.
I am the pirate
While I'm
king.
at it, can't hurt to have a couple of those hanging out with us. We're gonna have to take and hold the Blood Swamp for as long as we possibly can, which is going to be a difficult prospect in and of itself. So what I forgot to do before was I can actually raise dead at sea, and I forgot to do that. So that lost us out on a few potentially better units that we could have had. So Harkon's Fraction Mind. Complete the quest for Slain Gold and construct the ancient vault, building at the settlement known as the Awakening. Harkon's mind is split between multiple personalities, all vying for dominance in his head. The only goal they share is the restoration of his psyche. To restore his mind, Harkon must be willing to seek out Lizardman artifacts and learn the spell that fractured it. So this will actually give him the United Mind and allow him to cast the spells from Lord of the Deep. So a personality takes over. One of Luthor's more extreme personalities has temporarily seized control of his shattered mind, granting him the use of a spell for a short time. It may not be long until another personality takes over, however, so the Narcissist gives us the spell Vangeist's Revenge, which is really good. It's a wind spell. I'll be showing that off as soon as I can here. Cooldown is increased for that spell, so we're probably not going to be able to use it very often. My speed has decreased and my melee defense has increased. So this is stability faction wide, increase in growth in public order, which is nice. So let's go ahead and move Luthor to the Blood Swamp to take that over.
Moving.
So let's go ahead and search the runes actually.
All their valuables are mine.
Okay, so what we're looking for is what this one would be, and we already see that at the bottom of this symbol there's a question mark, and at the bottom of the symbol there's that square. Oh, so it gives the Pyroconnect compound again, which we already had.
Undead pirates!
So we can go into encamp.
Holster the galleon!
And let's see, we've already got 3 mortars and a carronade. Don't know if it's absolutely necessary to get another. What can we raise from here? Okay, we definitely want a handgun. That range is nothing to sneeze at. So next turn we'll take over the swamps, and since the Cult of Sotek has decided to declare war on us, we're going to have to go over there and do some raiding. Because how dare they? How dare they declare war on the Arch Grand Commodore?
My madness is not weakness!
No, it is not weakness, it is strength.
I hear voices! Come
So
now!
we'll go ahead and colonize the Blood Swamps, which has unlocked the Curse of Eternal Service. Tales of crew who serve under undead pirate captains state that they were press-ganged to remain under the sway of their admiral, not just for decades but forever. It is best then to embrace such fortune, for fate is rarely kind to deserters. So, Curse of Eternal Service over here, which is on the start. Lords have a chance of gaining loyalty. Loyalty will not decline. There will be an increase in public order, and recruitment cost is decreased. So we're going to have to go ahead and build the Shoreline of the Cursed.
Crazy! Not stupid.
And we'll get some Captain's Cabins, which is going to unlock some heroes for us. We're probably going to aim for a caster, a Vampire Fleet Captain of the Lore of Vampires. I feel like that's going to be the most useful for us in the short term. And we'll have to recover from this for a little while. Let's go ahead and go with recruitment of zombie units, minus 25% growth, the Dredge the Sea. Enactment, and while we're at it, let's see if we can't get...
I will listen to the groveling peon.
The Dread Fleet wonder if we can get a trade agreement in there.
Out of my sight.
Okay, just a non-aggression, and what do I demand a little bit of payment.
This serves my cause.
Thank you, sir. We'll also go to
Servant of be careful what you wish for.
followers of Nagash because we have a really good relations with them. Apparently not good enough to give us any money though.
Very well.
Claim Fester.
Machines
They
and
will be around here somewhere, I think. Let's see if we can't.
Why the crew call yourself a pirate? Because you.
Oh, good. The Blessed Dread's probably going to declare war on us. They don't hate us too much. I think they hate the High Elves more. We'll have to see. Be a real bummer if this campaign was over before it even began, honestly. Yeah, looks like the Order of Lore Masters is kind of moving in on my territory a little bit. Not great. So we are gonna have to hit the seas and go back to the
winds may
Awakening.
sadden me, but I am still a master at inflicting pain.
Yeah. So they've declared war on me, which will make the Order of Lore Masters a little bit happier with me since I'm fighting Dark Elves, but I doubt happy enough to prevent them from trying to kick my butt. So I have a feeling I'm going to be fighting. This might be useful to me, but I'm going to decline it for now until I heal a little bit. Until I heal a little bit more.
My ocean.
Speak up.
Let's go over here so we can. So let's collapse some of these. Recruit that.
We embark again soon.
Going
Head back to
ashore.
the Awakening to heal up a little bit.
Souls are booty.
The carronades are way better for us. So let's go ahead and upgrade that. Actually, might need the cash.
King of the Vampire Coast.
You know, let's go ahead and recruit a hero unit. Let's see. Vampires and knowledgeable, best combo.
Fleet captain,
Let's go and
reporting.
recruit them. That'll give us the invocation of Nehek, which is going to be able to heal our troops, and they start out with the hunger, which is good.
I smell a defector.
Let's see here. So that's going to be this line's going to be buffing our units a little bit. Okay, so we're going to work our way towards the Wind of Death, which is going to be really good. This is something new added with SFO, I believe, along with potentially some tweaks here and all that. But we'll get into that a little bit
You
later.
say something.
We'll have to do, so we do, ooh, we got another handguns unit. Let's go ahead and kick this.
I'm getting twitchy.
To recruit that. We've only got 6 handgun units. Or 6 ranged units at the moment. We kind of want more than that. Let's go ahead. So the Mournguls are rather good. I need my artillery. Scurvy dogs will be useful. These guys aren't the best. Kick them out.
Curse my crowded psyche.
Or some ranged. And these guys can kind of double as my front lines as well, since I've got my pirate deckhands a little bit weak. So we'll go ahead and end our turn there. And we'll see if the High Elves also want to fight. Yeah, looks like they're not interested anymore. We're going to have to repel a lot of Dark Elf invasions, and there's the Cult of Sotek.
Wealth for my coffers.
Oh, a trade agreement. Sure. They're eventually going to be really good to trade with. But the trade agreement immediately dissolves. Which probably means that the potentially Wizard Caliph's palace was attacked? I don't know why it would do that like that. It's really strange. So, let's see. Fleshy Fortune. Ahoy there. We've come across an enemy encampment devoid of life and littered with corpses. Half-devoured bodies are scattered about the clearing. The fallen dead were elite riflemen. Surely one among them will be of use to us. Or perhaps we should seek out the creature that caused this massacre. So we can either raise the gunnery white or capture Mongol Haunter. Masters of the ballistic arts, even in death, gunnery whites maintain the lines and a steady flow of black powder, or fearsome creatures of the night. The very stuff of nightmares. Mongol haunters strike fear into the hearts of their helpless prey. Let's go with the gunnery white. It'll definitely be more useful.
Fleet captain, reporting.
Let's see, can you... Assaulting units.
Gunnery white.
You can block army with a slight chance.
My mind rages.
Luthor Harkon.
My madness is not weakness. As you were.
Dry powder.
Let's see.
King of the Vampire Coast. I am the Pirate King.
Let's combine a
I
few
am
units.
listening.
Undead.
Seaborn death.
Probably go after Proxmarsh,
Luthor Harkon.
which will actually be completely fine with us.
The stronger, the better.
Let's throw the
Need
vampire in
fresh
there.
recruits.
Mind that recoil.
Yes?
And let's throw the gunnery white in there. He's going to help stabilize our gunners.
Cook.
My mind rages.
And since we have a hand gunner in there, let's kick one of these.
Crazy.
Get him in there. As many guns as we possibly can.
My ocean.
Proxmarsh. Let's actually upgrade this smuggler's landing. We're eventually going to have to get you some walls. Well, we'll deal with that in a minute. I have a feeling that they're going to attack us, and I don't know that our armies will be able to hold them back really well, but we will eventually kick them out. Unless they attack us, which would be the ideal. And then we don't even have to worry about it. You know, I don't even think they moved. I think they stayed put. Yeah, I think it passed their turn. Oh, that's really good. So we're going to heal to full strength. And they're just going to hang out. Fine by me. Let me go see what... Oh boy. Harkon's struggling. It looks like Rapunzel is kind of taking him over. Unfortunate for him. So they are taking a much more defensive stance.
My madness is not weakness.
Don't like defense.
Lay them to
Murder
waste.
time. So that kicked them out of their stance.
Deckhands, forward!
And now we're gonna go kick them in the teeth with guns. Let's see. So they do have an ancient salamander, single entity, long range, relatively long range, longer than our guns are going to take a little while to get over there, but they should have an easy time shooting them. The Bastillon Arc of Sotek, which I believe is in around self-vortex, so the range is not the best, so that's good. We'll be able to catch them out with guns. The horned ones are going to give us some trouble. These guys have stock, which is also going to give us trouble. Same with these guys. These guys don't have a longer range than most of our guns, which is good. The mortars will be able to take out most of the infantry. The horned ones are the ones I'm worried about. We might be able to catch them with the scurvy. Let's see, the scurvy dogs are definitely faster, so we can definitely catch them out with the scurvy dogs and maybe hit them with carronades or morngulls. Well, we've got our work cut out for us, so let's see what we can do. I have a feeling it's going to be one heck of a battle here to blast them to throw bits with all this gunpowder. But we totally got it. That's alright.
Fleet captain!
It's 23, so it's going to be rather expensive, but we have fairly decent. So they put themselves over there, which is actually like a beautiful shot from my cannon. Let's do this. Let's set up our cannon here.
Always crew. Gunner in, mob! Fleet captain!
Let's see, those cannons, those cannons. Replenishing ammunition. We'll be able to send the dogs to kind of break a charge if they tend to charge in. We've got these guys kind of protecting this flank a little bit. We'll have these guys,
Gunner in, mob!
if anything decides to come in this way.
My cutlass thirst!
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. The Zuffbar 42 pounders dealt some pretty significant damage there. You can see kind of where they started and where they ended.
smell blood. Good.
Gonna move all our guys up a little bit. Because they've taken a very defensive position. This would actually be really ideal for us. That high up and in a corner like that, shooting downhill. Shooting uphill is definitely worse for the guns.
Luthor Harkon. So be it.
So the AI is being very defensive here, which is fine. We'll see if we can't inch forward with the...
Lives will end.
If we can't inch forward with the cannons enough to actually start... So all we need to do is really start shooting their infantry.
Zombies. Soon.
Captain! Yes, Captain! Drowner! Lurching! Tannery mob!
See how quickly these handgunners dissolve the horned ones. Oh, that's really good.
Gunnery mob!
I'm dead.
Again, all of my guys. They really gotta stop running from stuff. It's really not helpful.
Yes, sir. Gather in, Mom. Yes.
Very well.
Dance, macabre.
We hear you! Finally! See, Ray. From
Fleet captain!
Yes, Captain! Aye!
Yes, captain!
No escape!
Oi!
And sometimes these mortars, they just start moving. It's a byproduct of the AI. So if it can't hit, it starts moving. If you put them in guard mode, it doesn't do that. And I routinely forget to put them in guard mode. Totally a misclick on my part. Same with all the ranged. They have a tendency to.
On the way!
There we go. Not bad. So we probably lost a few of our handgunners because they were up in the front and everything else was relatively expendable. It's a little unfortunate about as you saw, the bloated corpses didn't exactly do their job too well. One of them did, but the other one kind of got caught out by their uh, ancient salamander, which is unfortunate, but not entirely unexpected. They had a lot of range that was kind of going to outdo our guns. So
It
just
was
have to
never
outdo
in
them
doubt.
again with even more guns. Let's go ahead and take the ransom
Freedom is not
captives.
free. Deckhands, forward!
So we got the Tehenoan.
The Pirate King only knows victory!
Tehenoan trait that we gained for defeating him, which is pretty decent for us. Not the best, but pretty decent. And we got another map. Let's see where that one takes us. Looks like that's Britonia? I think this is Britonia. Not sure if we want to go to Britonia. Okay, so do we want to spend how much? Hang on, let's go back to Luthor. How much infamy do we have? We have currently 554, so we can spend all of it and immediately research Sentries in Command, which unlocks all of our what are they called? All of our lords to rank 5, which is actually pretty good for us because they can immediately go into the offices, especially these ones down here. And it looks like these two on the wings. Not this one because that requires a rank 8 and this one's rank 10. But we can always put him in Fleet Engineer.
Luthor Harkon.
Not the worst idea. Don't want Supernatural Horror just yet. Let's keep going down this and get us that Lightning Strike.
There is little honor.
Replenishment,
amongst vampires.
Invocation.
My mind.
And for you,
of mutiny.
I think we'll want. So we'll definitely want. Let's throw some training and crackle fruit. Or cackle fruit in there.
My madness is not weakness!
Essentially, this whole area is at war with us right now, and the Dark Elves to the south.
Revenge.
theory, they shouldn't come to us too quickly. Let's throw... Let's do that there. That there. We might have to recruit. Let's go sentries in command. I have a feeling we're going to be... That pushes us all the way back down to the last spot, but we'll be getting that back pretty soon. I have a feeling we're going to be needing that rank, those rank 5 lords pretty soon here with these the Dark Elves incoming. So with that, I think we'll end our first episode of this playthrough, and I will see everyone in the next one. Have a good one.